Which of Disney World's outdoor quick service locations have hidden indoor seating? What tables should you be requesting at Disney's most popular table service restaurants? And how could a breakfast reservation actually serve as one of your greatest park advantages? We're dishing out the details that you're dying to know about Disney dining today on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I'm here to talk about, Disney food. Dining around Disney World property can become one of the biggest highlights of your trip, especially if you find a restaurant that checks all the boxes for you. Good food? Impressive theming? Got it. Friendly service? Check, check, and check. But if you don't mind, I'm going to add a few other important things to your restaurant checklist too that you definitely need to be on the lookout for before you dine around Disney, just to make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Okay, first surprising revelation. Kids can go to bars here. Yes, what a nice family-friendly way to kick off today's video, right? Stay with me though. I promise everything here is still family-friendly, and this info is stuff you're going to want to know. There are several lounges scattered all around Disney World property. Some are attached to higher-end popular table service restaurants to give you a potentially cheaper method of getting food straight from the restaurant's main kitchen. This includes places like Nomad Lounge in Animal Kingdom, attached to Tiffin's Restaurant, Citrico's Lounge in Grand Floridian, attached to Citrico's, Space 220 Lounge in Epcot, attached to Space 220, Tambu Lounge in Polynesian Village Resort, attached to Ohana, and several others. And then there are the lounges and bars that are completely standalone but still offer up a nice selection of lounge bites and drinks and plenty of fun atmosphere. Some of our favorite standalone bars include Trader Sam's Grog Grotto in Polynesian Village, Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar in Disney Springs, Oga's Cantina in Hollywood Studios, Enchanted Rose Lounge in Grand Floridian, Geyser Point Bar and Grill in Wilderness Lodge, and if I'm not careful, this video will turn into a lounges only video, and we already have one of those videos that you can check out on your own time. So let's return to the matter at hand and taking your kids to these places. For the most part, kids are totally allowed to go to these Disney lounges and bars with the rest of their fam, but here are the things you'll want to keep in mind. First, kids are often not allowed to sit at the bar itself. They can sit at one of the lounge tables, but they won't be able to belly up to the bar and shoot the breeze with the bartender. Now, we have heard that every now and then kids have been allowed to sit at the Space 220 bar, so you can always ask about that if you want to sign up for the walk-up wait list for that one. But I wouldn't say that's going to be a straight-up guarantee for guests under 21, so just so you're aware, never hurts to check. 2, select bars are adults-only atmospheres. This includes those Boardwalk Inn nightlife locations like Jelly Rolls and Atlantic Dance Hall. It also includes Trader Sam's after 8 p.m. Before 8, kids are more than welcome to hang out in this enchanted grotto, but after 8, only the adults are allowed to occupy the space. And 3, while lounges might welcome kids, they might not always be welcoming to kids, as in they can be very adult-focused, making them kind of boring for the younger folk out there. Like, yeah, we enjoy how chill they are, but your kid may not appreciate the lack of Disney characters and wish-granting ceremonies. Just something to keep in your back pocket before loading up your family's vacation itinerary with back-to-back bar and lounge visits. Now, this next one I really, really love. You can eat a quick service meal inside a sit-down restaurant to get a little bit of that AC. Let's face it, when it's hot in Disney World, the last thing you want to do is eat outside. But sometimes it can't be helped, especially since a lot of Disney World counter service locations only offer outdoor seating, which can make an otherwise solid quick service a whole lot less appealing. But as it turns out, 2 outdoor Epcot counter service restaurants have secret indoor seating you can take advantage of. You just have to be in the know, which is what we're going to do for you right now. The first secret indoor option is at La Cantina de San Angel over in the Mexico Pavilion. Sure, this little cantina does have a covered seating area, but covered does not always equal cooler. So here's where the hack comes in. You can actually pick up your food at La Cantina de San Angel and sit inside the attached table service restaurant, La Hacienda de San Angel. That's right, sometimes La Cantina opens up a section of seating inside La Hacienda so that there's more seating available for everyone who dines at the quick service. So it's always worth checking to see if that indoor section is open during your next visit. And the second secret indoor option is over at Yorkshire County Fish Shop. The Rose and Crown Dining Room begins service at 4 p.m., but earlier in the day, typically before 3 p.m., you can hang out in the dining room without a dining reservation if you purchase a basket of fish and chips from the nearby Yorkshire County Fish Shop window, or you get something from the kind of bar or pub area. After you make your fish and chips purchase, walk over to the Rose and Crown Dining Room and let a nearby cast member know that you'd like a place to sit. This area is normally pretty full when the restaurant officially opens at 4, but during the day you can relax inside without a dinner reservation. Now, don't forget about this important mobile order step. Mobile ordering is a nifty feature across Disney's quick services, but if you forget about this, then mobile order could be more of a pain in your side rather than a convenience. Mobile ordering food is a breeze. You just go on your My Disney Experience app, select the Order Food button, and order from the restaurant you want to eat in. Now, the part that can potentially trip you up is the arrival window section. When you choose an arrival window, this does not mean you're choosing when you want your food to be ready. It means you're choosing the time when you plan on being at the quick service restaurant yourself. That way, when your arrival window opens up, you can choose the I'm Here button in your My Disney Experience app so that the restaurant can start making your food fresh for you. But what happens if you're late to your arrival window or you forget to press the I'm Here button after you get there? For the most part, it's a pretty easy fix. You can just choose a new return time or cancel your order completely and reorder if need be. But we had a weird scenario just the other day where one of our reporters missed an 11 a.m. arrival window for her Ronto morning wrap from Ronto Roasters. So sure, she could choose a new return time for the restaurant, but the next return time was of course listed for after 11 a.m., which is when breakfast stops being served. So now what? Does that mean she'd have to miss out on a Ronto morning wrap completely? Honestly, it was a 50-50 shot, so our reporter took a screenshot of her order's expiration and how the time for their return expired right at 11 a.m. Then she took it to a Ronto Roasters cast member who miraculously was able to manually fix the situation and still get her that morning wrap she'd ordered in the first place. This was a happy ending for our reporter, but don't take this example for granted. This isn't a solution that's always going to be available. So while it's definitely worth asking a cast member to help you out with a fickle situation like this one, it's always good to set your expectations and understand a solution like this may not always be an option. So when you're dealing with those limited time breakfast offerings, make sure you stay on top of the time so you don't miss your arrival window, and always take screenshots of your order just in case you need to refer back to it later if any tech issues do arise. Now, certain table service restaurants actually do have to-go options. Ever want to have a sit-down meal minus the sit-down part? There are a few Disney World restaurants that can help you out with that. Participating restaurants around the Disney World resorts actually have to-go options. These include Sanaa at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Steakhouse 71 at Contemporary Resort, Three Bridges Bar and Grill at Coronado Springs, Olivia's Cafe at Old Key West, Kona Cafe at Polynesian Village, Geyser Point Bar and Grill at Wilderness Lodge, and Ale and Compass at Yacht Club. So here's how you can get a nice table service meal in takeout fashion. First, tap the Order Food button located on your My Disney Experience app and choose the resort location for the restaurant you're wanting to order from. Much like a regular quick service mobile order, you'll choose what foods you want to eat from the restaurant and then proceed to check out. You'll also have to choose an arrival window just like you will at a quick service restaurant. Now, like I said earlier, that arrival time does not mean pick up your food time. It just means you're now inside the restaurant and ready to have your food prepared. So if you tell the restaurant that you've arrived, then that's when they're going to start making your meal. At a quick service, this isn't such a big deal because you'll usually get your food shortly after you tell the restaurant you've arrived because it's quick. But if you're getting a to-go order from a table service, you got to keep in mind that the food being prepped is going to take more time because it's still table service quality, just placed in portable boxes. So don't be shocked if you don't get your order for another 20 minutes after you tell the restaurant you've arrived. They haven't forgotten about you. They're doing the opposite. They're getting your meal very nicely cooked up. Now, once you get the notification telling you your food's ready, let the host up front know about it and you'll be able to grab your food to either enjoy picnic style or maybe even take back to your hotel room. Did you know that there are better tables than others at Disney World restaurants? When you make table service reservations for a restaurant you're really excited to go to, you want to make sure you're getting the best experience while you're there, especially if you're already paying beaucoup to be there. And a big part of getting that best experience is making sure you've locked down the best seat in the house. In our DFB guide to Walt Disney World dining over on dfbstore.com, we go to great lengths to tell you about as many prime table service seats as possible. So if you want to learn about a whole bunch of great seating arrangements, you can always pick up our digital guide that you can easily take with you in the park so you don't have to forget about which tables you want to request at what locations. Oh, and don't forget to type in code YouTube if you want to save some money on your total guidebook purchase too. Just adding that in there is a little cherry on top. But for now, I'll give you a few of our all-time favorite tables to request at certain restaurants so you can see exactly how your seat location really will impact the quality of your visit. Keep in mind that even if you do request one of these tables, you may not always be guaranteed that table, or you may have to wait a bit past your reservation time in order for your request to be accommodated. Table location number 1, Santa Angel Inn Restaurante at Epcot. San Angel inside the Mexico Pavilion has tables that'll give you a front row seat to the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros boat ride. The seats nearest the railing by the water ride, right next to the giant pyramid and volcano, make you feel like you're part of the attraction, all while enjoying your queso fundido. Table location number 2, Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater at Hollywood Studios. Any seat inside any car over at Sci-Fi makes you feel like a cool kid on the block. However, the cars parked along the far right-hand side of the room, away from the entrance, have front and center views of the screen while also feeling tucked away from the kitchen and the crowds. If the convertible car-style seating makes you a little claustrophobic, though, you may also want to request one of the picnic-style tables in the back of the restaurant as an alternative option. Table location number 3, Wine Bar George at Disney Springs. Seeing as how this rustic chic wine bar and restaurant makes us feel transported to a Napa Valley estate, we'll gladly sit anywhere at Wine Bar George and be happy. But if we're picking favorites here, which we are, I always opt for a small table on the second floor balcony, which gives a killer view of all the Disney Springs hustle and bustle happening down below. But if the weather's bad, really hot, really rainy, really windy, you may want to choose an indoor table instead. Table location number 4, Chef Mickey's at Contemporary Resort. For a character dining experience in Disney World, Chef Mickey's made quite the name for itself over the years, so here's the best table at this popular character dining experience. If you're seated at the table right next to the entrance door where the chef-clad characters all come out, your table will be the first to spot Mickey and friends as they stroll on by to make their rounds. Okay, where are all my fellow introverts? Because I need to warn you about these super high-energy Disney restaurants before you completely drain your social battery for the day. 50's Primetime Cafe in Hollywood Studios is a very fun time, and the homestyle cooking tends to hit the spot. But this is a restaurant where you could get yelled at for not finishing your veggies or because you put your elbows on the table. Okay, so it's not like you're going to get legitimately yelled at or anything. It's all part of the fun because your servers are there to treat you like family, but they will go all out to embarrass you just like family too. You can always tell the host when you check in for your reservation that you'd rather not participate in all the primetime hoopla and you'd rather just be a spectator. But the hoopla is the main draw of this restaurant. So if you don't want to be a part of the main draw, then you may instead want to choose a more calm, cool, and collected home-style meal later on in your trip, like Homecoming at Disney Springs or Olivia's Cafe at Old Key West. Now, Whispering Canyon Cafe in Wilderness Lodge, similar situation. Despite its name, this is one of the rowdiest restaurants in Disney property. Much like 50's Primetime, the servers here are going to mess with you. Much like Genie, you got to be careful what you wish for, because if you need some ketchup, you might get an unlimited supply of it. Or if you need a drink refill, you might get a real giant glass of it, along with a free lightning lane to the outhouse. Again, this is a fun family-style restaurant, but pretty much all the other places to dine inside Wilderness Lodge are going to be a whole lot more low-key. Even Storybook Dining at Artist Point with Snow White is a lot more chill, though that does mean you'll have to socialize with the fairest of them all, as well as Grumpy, Dopey, and the Evil Queen too, so that comes with its own bout of social anxiousness you might want to avoid. Speaking of, any character dining experiences in general mean you're going to have Disney characters walking right up to your table to interact with you. It's a great way to guarantee some one-on-one time with your favorite characters without having to wait in a forever long line to talk to them inside the parks. But does that make it any less nerve-wracking when you're an introvert? Not really. If you're going to be dining at one of these character restaurants, keep in mind that your overall interaction time isn't going to be very long anyway, and the characters will always help lead the conversation, which takes all that small talk pressure off of you. That being said, you can always plan a few character questions ahead of your meal just to have some unique conversation fodder prepped and ready to go. Just because a Disney World park is set to close at a certain time doesn't mean all the attractions inside the park follow suit, and that goes for the restaurants too. Now, if you have a dining reservation for a table service restaurant, then you don't have to sweat those early closures nearly as much because you've already got your dining time locked in. But if this is one of those times where you're flying by the seat of your pants trying to get a quick meal or treat to satisfy your rumbling tummy, then you need to make sure you research those restaurants and snack stand times way ahead of your trip so you don't get your hopes up for one of them, only to find out they closed up shop hours ago. This happens to me a lot more than you would expect. Here are some of the earliest restaurant and snack closures we've encountered throughout the parks recently. Now, keep in mind that these hours are always subject to change, so you're going to want to do your own research when it comes to these places too, because it could change depending on seasonality, it could change depending on the day of the week. So research right up to the day of your park visit, and if there's someplace you want to go that day, make sure you check its hours before you try to head over there. Third-party restaurants inside the Disney bubble could be your key to savings. Disney Springs is filled with third-party restaurants, and that means these restaurants have different loyalty programs and happy hours and savings opportunities that you're not normally going to find at a restaurant that's strictly Disney-owned. Again, we talk about all these different savings opportunities in depth in our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining, but here are a few of the lesser-known Disney Springs discounts just to give you a taste of what you might be able to find. On the Blaze fast-fired mobile app, you might occasionally find a buy one, get one free deal to take advantage of. With the CityWorks Rewards program called Bottleneck Rewards, you could get a free appetizer and additional perks like a $10 birthday gift and more. At Paradiso 37, happy hour is from 3 to 8 p.m. and features $7 margaritas and domestic beer. And at Sprinkles, you can join their perks program to earn points for all purchases. For every dollar you spend, you'll get 5 points, and once you hit 300 points, you'll get a free item. You'll also get a free cupcake on your birthday. A few third-party restaurants also reside inside the parks, like Yak and Yeti over in Animal Kingdom and Via Napoli and Tutto Italia in Epcot. Yak and Yeti is actually owned by the same folks who own Rainforest Cafe and T-Rex, which is Landry's restaurants, while the Italy Pavilion restaurants in Epcot are owned by Patina Restaurant Group. If you join Landry's Select Club, you can earn rewards when you dine at Yak and Yeti, Rainforest Cafe, and T-Rex, which can help you save on future Landry's restaurant visits. You'll also earn $25 as a welcome reward. And when you sign up for Patina Group's subscription list, which is totally free, you'll receive offers and deals as well as $30 to $50 offers for your birthday. Patina also has lots of restaurants in Disney Springs as well, and even over in Disneyland. Now, we've had the best of times and the worst of times with Disney World restaurants, especially recently. A lot of people don't realize that Disney World restaurants are never the same. You know what I always say, the only thing that's consistent about Disney World restaurants is that they're inconsistent. And so they can change, for better or for worse. At the moment, we're kind of salty about some of the major restaurant changes that have taken place and left us going, why are you doing this to us? Like, it's going to be a while before I'll be able to accept that Sleepy Hollow refreshments replace the waffle sandwiches with just regular loaded Mickey waffles, or that the blueberry waffles that used to be available during breakfast at Hollywood Scoops just disappeared without a trace. And these are the things that have just happened in the last week. So many of our favorite Disney snacks are dropping like flies lately, which is why we recently had to update our free 2024 Best Snacks of Disney World guide to feature all the snacks that are still available around the parks and still tasty, to help heal our hearts. You can pick up that updated complimentary guide by scanning the QR code you see on the screen now, or heading to disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks after this. Again, totally free, Best Snacks of Disney World. But instead of stewing over the bad changes, let's gaslight ourselves and talk about the positive changes we've seen from select Disney World restaurants lately, especially the restaurants that we'd almost given up on. Starting with the once infamous Tony's Town Square in Magic Kingdom. Previously, we thought that poor Tony's just had basic, plain, and super heavy food, which they did. However, since they updated their menu back in 2022, we started to actually crave this place. Specifically, we love their foot-long, yes, I'm not kidding, mozzarella sticks and their garlic bread that comes with this gorgeous, pourable, garlicky, fondue-y kind of sauce. And while Tony's isn't fancy dining by any means, it's a much more solid restaurant option than it used to be. Another Magic Kingdom restaurant that started to grow on us is the quick service Pinocchio Village House. Now, these flatbreads aren't reinventing the pizza wheel or anything, but they are a much better option in our opinion than those personal puffy pizzas that you used to find here, and that you can still find over at Pizzafari in Animal Kingdom or Pizza Rizzo in Hollywood Studios. So if you're looking for a decent, cheap, quick service pizza inside the parks, Pinocchio's could be your shot. Then there's ABC Commissary over in Hollywood Studios, which has actually been on our good list for a while now, but I still like to give it a pat on the back every now and then to thank it for its major menu overhaul that it did a few years back. Instead of serving just your basic theme park staples like it used to, you can now order items like the buffalo chicken grilled cheese, the shrimp tacos, and the Mediterranean salad. So the moral here, Disney World restaurants are constantly changing, but change isn't always synonymous with bad, unless you're taking away my hush puppies. Then we got beef. So before you completely count out a Disney restaurant because of the reputation it's built for itself over the years, check out our updated reviews via the DFB website to see our current feelings about the menus, service, and overall quality for each dining experience. You know that we don't necessarily say that anything's good or bad. Our job is to show you what you're going to get and show you basically what the food actually looks like, how much it costs, and what our thoughts were about it while we were eating it, as people who eat in Disney World all the time. So that's our job, and hopefully that can guide you into finding restaurants that are going to fit the bill for you on your next trip. Now, do you want to dine at a Disney World restaurant like everyone else, or do you want to get real fancy with it? At each Disney World park that features nighttime spectaculars, sorry, Animal Kingdom, you can book a dining reservation with VIP seating or VIP standing room in some cases through one of the fireworks parties or packages. Magic Kingdom has 3 fireworks dessert party opportunities: a pre-party, a during party, aka seats and suites, and a post-party, and each party is hosted by the Tomorrowland Terrace restaurant. If you even want to call it a restaurant anymore, it's never open these days. But if you book a pre or post party time, you'll be able to watch the Happily Ever After Castle show in the Plaza Garden area. And if you book the seats and suites, you'll be able to stick around the Tomorrowland Terrace and watch the show from the comfort of your seat. Now, everybody gets desserts. Everybody gets that all you care to enjoy dessert party situation. You're just watching the show from different places. Meanwhile, Epcot has 2 different fireworks dining packages that'll give you an up-close and personal view of the newish Luminous show. You may choose from the Rose and Crown Fireworks Dining Package or the Spice Road Table Fireworks Dining Package. Rose and Crown will seat you on their outdoor patio, which looks out across the World Showcase Lagoon where the show takes place, while offering a prix-fixe meal including an appetizer, an entree, a dessert platter, and unlimited beverages. And the Spice Road Table Dining Package includes your choice of 2 small plates, a shared tagine, and a dessert platter for the table, and unlimited beverages here too. Here you're going to be seated in the covered outdoor dining room, which also looks out across the lagoon. Then there's Hollywood Studios, which has a different Fantasmic dining package set up. Instead of your meal happening during the fireworks, you'll book a fireworks package reservation at 50's Primetime Cafe, Mama Melrose Ristorante Italiano, Hollywood and Vine, Sci-Fi Dine-In, or the Hollywood Brown Derby for either lunch or dinner. And then you'll just eat at the restaurant like you normally would. The difference here is that with the Fantasmic dining package in tow, you'll also receive a voucher along with your meal, which will be your one-way ticket to VIP seating inside the amphitheater. Now, there are 2 important things I gotta note about each of these fireworks parties and packages. First of all, prices for these will vary based on what restaurant/time frame you choose, so you'll definitely want to check on the cost of each of these before you commit. Secondly, these will book up fast, so make sure you've marked your calendar and know the soonest day that you'll be able to start grabbing those reservations. It's going to be 60 days before your trip, starting at 6 a.m. Eastern. Disney World is a place where storytelling runs rampant no matter where you are on property, so when you go to a restaurant that's surrounded by lots of decor and knickknacks, it's best you pay attention to what's on the walls and the shelves. Let me just shoot a few examples so you can see what I mean here. Over at Roundup Rodeo Barbecue inside Hollywood Studios, you're shrunk down to the size of a toy and placed into a realm that Andy has created for Woody, Buzz, and the gang. And to really drive that immersiveness on home, you'll be surrounded by oversized games and toys, lots of arts and crafts projects that cover the walls, the ceiling, even the floor. These details give the restaurant a colorful, cluttered, and creative vibe that suspends your disbelief while you're there to dine and makes you think that, yeah, you are stepping on birthday wrapping paper, or you are literally the same size as Little Bo Peep and her sheep, or that you really do need to freeze when you hear Sarge yell out that Andy's coming because you so don't want to blow anyone's cover. Meanwhile, over at Skipper Canteen and Magic Kingdom, you'll be transported into a whole different storytelling realm, a Jungle Cruise-inspired one. According to Imagineering lore, Alberta Falls is the granddaughter of Dr. Albert Falls, the founder of Schweitzer Falls, of course, and the Jungle Navigation Company, which was originally a cargo shipping venture. When cargo business took a downturn, Alberta decided to open up cruises to passengers thanks to the suggestion of one of her skippers. So no matter where you're seated in this restaurant, you'll want to get up and walk around to admire the details. Because what you'll start to learn through all the trinkets and notes and once hidden secret meeting room was that Dr. Albert Falls was actually a member of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, or SEA, and he used to host fellow members in the back of the restaurant. Even Disney's unassuming bars and lounges might have a story for you to unravel. Abracadabar over in the Boardwalk Inn might look like just another vintage-inspired watering hole, but upon further inspection of the bar's newspaper clippings and memorabilia and posters lining the walls, you'll start to learn that the backstory of this place is actually pretty dark. You see, one mysterious night in the year 1940, a group of boardwalk illusionists and entertainers vanished into thin air from their secret magician's hideout, never to be heard from again. So what happened to these magical souls? The mystery still abounds, but don't forget to keep an ear out too. You may be able to hear what sounds like a magician's show, complete with applause, by the stage door. So before you dine anywhere around Disney, see what the restaurant's backstory revolves around, because you'll want to make sure you soak in the atmosphere to its fullest instead of missing out on a restaurant's main plot, because these dining experiences are so much more than just the sum of their parts. So is there a restaurant you really want to go to just for the atmosphere of it all? Then book a reservation for breakfast instead of lunch or dinner. The prime example of this, the ever so popular Cinderella's Royal Table over in Magic Kingdom. Dining inside the Cinderella Castle does not come cheap, y'all. You're looking at a lunch and dinner price that'll set you back $84 per adult and $49 per kid. So a family of 4 with 2 adults, 2 kids can expect to pay $266 for their meal before tax and tip. That's like the same price as staying in Pop Century Resort for a night, which is wild. Now, no matter when you dine here, you're going to pay a pretty penny for your meal. But if you choose to dine here before the clock strikes 11, you'll be paying breakfast prices instead of the regular meal prices. And breakfast is going to put you back $69 per adult and $42 per kid. So a family of 4 will end up paying before tax and tip $222 instead of $266, saving you $44 when all is said and done. And that can probably pay for lunch. Some folks would rather not go to these types of restaurants during breakfast simply because they don't want to eat a typical or even slightly elevated breakfast spread of scrambled eggs, fancy toasts, and assorted pastries. And I get that, especially if you're staying at a hotel off-site that has continental breakfast already available for you for free. I mean, why would you pay for similar food you can get for free? However, if you're just going for the restaurant experience and not necessarily the food, this still might be the best time to make a reservation if you want to eat at an expensive Disney restaurant that's been on your radar for a while, yet still save a buck or two in the process. This is also really, really good for other character meals like buffets. And there's another big reason you may want to book a breakfast reservation at certain restaurants. You might be allowed to enter the parks early before anyone else. If you're wanting to book a reservation at Cinderella's Royal Table or Crystal Palace in Magic Kingdom, these restaurants open up at 8 a.m. on the dot, whether the park is open at that time or not. Sometimes Magic Kingdom opens at 8, so this doesn't really give you a whole lot of advantage, but other times Magic Kingdom opens as late as 9 a.m., meaning those 8 a.m. reservation time slots for breakfast are going to get you into the park even before the early theme park entry crowd. And that means you'll be able to stroll down a practically empty Main Street USA and grab a few pics in front of the castle before you make your way to breakfast. When you get to the entrance of the park, track down a cast member and let them know you're looking to check into your breakfast dining reservation. You'll still need to have a valid ticket to enter the park, but once you scan in, you should be able to bypass the thick crowds congregating around the front gate, giving you a nice, peaceful morning in Magic Kingdom before all the crowds start flooding in. Then you're basically done with your breakfast in time for the park to open. And we're back to being fancy, real fancy. Typically, Disney World restaurants keep it casual. Tank tops, sure, flip-flops, no problem. The shorts that are just short enough that your sweaty thighs stick to plastic seats everywhere you go, yep, those are fine too. But there are a few restaurants around property that have slightly more stringent dress code requirements you'll need to be aware of. Signature or fine dining restaurants that are located outside of the theme parks require a slightly more elevated wardrobe. This includes the following locations that I'll post on the screen for you now. So what do these restaurants want you to wear instead of flip-flops and tanks? Honestly, they don't ask for much. While you can dress up even fancier if you'd like, Disney only asks that you dress just kind of one step up from what you typically wear around the parks. So you might see the guys at these venues wearing khaki shorts and a polo shirt and sneakers, while the ladies would wear a nice sleeveless top or classy sundress. Nothing too over the top. The signature restaurants located within the theme parks, with 2 exceptions, have no specific dress code other than the standard park touring attire. These include the Celier's Steakhouse in Epcot, Tiffin's in Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Brown Derby in Hollywood Studios, and Be Our Guest Restaurant and Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom. The 2 exceptions to this general rule are Takumite in Epcot's Japan Pavilion and Monsieur Paul in Epcot's France Pavilion. At these places, you'll be asked to adhere to the same dress code as the signature restaurants and resort hotels listed above. Classy, but nothing that's going to make you have to go out and buy a whole cocktail dress and or 2-piece suit for the event. Now, there is one Disney World restaurant that's more strict about what you wear when you visit, and that's the AAA 5-diamond rated and Michelin starred Victoria and Albert's restaurant at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. When you dine here, you're dining on luxury cuisine, and since you are what you eat, you need to dress fancy too. Disney calls it proper attire, which means you'll more than likely see men wearing suits or sport jackets, maybe even ties, while the women will more than likely be wearing some form of formal business attire, such as a skirt suit or pantsuit or a knee-length dress. And a dinner jacket is required for gentlemen in this particular restaurant, so even if you didn't bring one of your own, they will give you one to wear. Now, you may encounter some Victoria and Albert's guests who go all out here wearing black tie or floor-length gowns, but this is much less common and definitely not required. You deserve to be celebrated for whatever the occasion is, and Amaret's Patisserie over in Disney Springs can help you out with that. You can pre-order a super cutesy Mickey Mouse celebration cake in either the dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate variety and have it delivered to the table service restaurant or restaurants that you've made reservations for. Which ones? Tons of restaurants have this option, including the ones in the parks and in the resorts, but not in the Disney Springs area. And just so we know what we're celebrating here, there are also engraving options for these celebration cakes where you can add a little message like happy birthday or congratulations, which is still vague, but there's tons worth celebrating in life, so that pretty much covers your bases. Now, each cake is $39 and feeds between 4 and 6 guests. The price of the cake will be tacked onto your restaurant bill, though you will need to order it from Amaret's before your meal to give them plenty of time to prepare it. You can order cakes while making your advanced dining reservations online or through the My Disney Experience app, but you can also submit an order in person over at the restaurant just as long as it's 4 days prior to your reservation. Every now and then you might be able to make a request for a same-day cake, since some restaurants may have a limited quantity of pre-made Mickey Mouse celebration cakes on hand, but those same-day cakes are not always guaranteed, so that might not be a gamble you want to take. To see which restaurants will accept celebration cake deliveries, check out the cakes page on the Disney World website. Now, let's have a little food convo in the comments. What's your favorite dining experience you've ever had in Disney World? Or if you're about to be a first-time guest, what restaurant are you most looking forward to trying? Let us know down below, and don't forget to check out our recently updated free Disney World Best Snacks Guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/best snacks. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.